Um, yeah. So, Flowers from 1970, but happy ending because I can't stop crying about it.
We cried too much.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is probably also gonna make me cry. I'm already starting to cry.
My
But
mom will never be around the canon universe.
yeah. Okay. Well, go ahead.
My God, the radio's on. And who cares? I'm louder than the radio.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Okay.
Okay, I'm George in Norba.
Yes, and any other character who pops up.
Yeah. The night George witnessed Dream die was one of the most hardest nights he had ever seen. Nothing could ever change that for him. George made his way home slowly but surely, unlocked his house, going straight to bed, not wanting to think anymore. He turned on Unchained Melodies by the Righteous Brothers, then slowly drifted off to sleep, crying while listening to it.
No, I'm Okay, go ahead.
You're gonna make me cry. George had awoken the next morning, slowly at 10 a.m. He was rolled over facing the wall, not motivated to get up and do anything. He just wanted to stay there, wait for Dream to call, a call from Dream. Dream's calls were his escape from 2020 reality. George had heard clanking coming from downstairs, which made him shoot up from his bed. The loud crashes sounded like pots and pans had fallen. George got a weird feeling in his stomach. He opened the door, shouted downstairs, "If anyone's down there, you're not welcome. Please leave."
Dude, if that's gonna do anything, like, when someone breaks into your house and you're like, please leave, they're not just gonna up and leave.
I mean, if you use your manners, they're probably like, "Oh, this person's nice, leaving."
Yeah,
Sorry, guys.
maybe.
Actually, don't. George heard a little gasp, and footsteps followed. George slowly made his way down. Why is this so hard for me to read? George slowly made his way to the stairs, and that's when he saw Dream. He fell to his knees and broke down sobbing. The dream George saw wasn't the 2020 dream, it was the 1970 dream that George was in love with. Dream had rushed up the stairs and embraced George in the tightest hug he has ever had. "How are you here, Dream?" George started through tears.
Well, George, it's quite a long story, actually. Dream started.
Oh, wait, I forgot you.
When I first realized that I loved you, I knew that I had to be with you and love you. I know you'll say I'm full of myself, but I deserve to be loved by you. I can't take it anymore. I needed to see you and be with you in person. Dream's eyes started to become glossy.
I don't understand, George stated.
I made a time machine, George. Dream said bluntly. That's why I'm here. I always cloned myself to leave a version of myself in 1970. My clone has all my memories and is like me with my DNA and everything, so no timeline will be erased.
Oh, sorry if I actually get a character. I did drama.
Honestly, I just kind of go along with everything, so that's my excuse. George sobbed. He couldn't believe it.
This better not be some sick prank dream.
Oh. It's not, George. I wouldn't prank you like that. Plus, if it was a prank, how am I here in 2020 with you, holding you? Dream smirked. Also, sorry for making a mess in your kitchen. I kind of fell. Dream laughed at himself. George just laid in Dream's arms, crying happy tears. He couldn't believe that he was touching and being held by the Dream he loves, the Dream he needs. George needs Dream more than Dream realized, especially with what he witnessed last night. This was the best thing that had ever happened to George. He was so confused about how Dream did all that, but he chose not to ask any more questions. He just wanted to cherish the moment he finally had with the man he loved. With him in 2019, not in 1970. Dream picked up the weeping George damn strong, I guess, and took him to George's bedroom, laying George on the bed fell down on the bed, and Dream followed, and held George so tight because he never wanted to let George go. He couldn't let George go. He never wanted to. He could never bring himself to leave him. George felt the same way. He never wanted to leave Dream. They were both head over heels for each other, and this was the moment in time where the two young men had finally met and were able to touch each other's warm skin, touching the other one, not just George, touching Dream's foresty green cracked handprint.
I love you so much, George said after he stopped crying with his head buried in Dream's chest.
I love you so much too. You have no idea. George hummed in agreement as he has the biggest smile on his face. Oh, you remember my friend Sap?
Yes. What? Okay. Bye.
So I left the time machine for him. Later today, he's gonna come into 2022. I don't want to leave him behind. He's my best friend, Dream chuckled. George nodded in response.
Wait. Oh, that's okay. Maybe I can be his friend too.
You could, Dream smiled. Also, George, I have another question, Dream asked, a bit nervous.
Yes? Why do you seem nervous, Dream?
Because, I wanted to know if you could be my boyfriend, George. Dream asked, while his heart rate increased due to his nervousness. George's eyes got glossy again.
Yes, I would love to, George cried, happy tears as he pushed his lips against Dream. Dream happily accepted the passionate kiss that George was giving him. It was the first kiss that both young men had. Both young men felt fireworks exploding in their stomachs. This was the happiest the both had ever been. It was a dream come true for both of them, to be able to hold and cherish each other in the same timeline of 2020.
Oh God. Oh, wait. Okay, chapter 2. Wait.
That's me! Hey, Dream, can I ask you a question? George asked, looking at him curiously. Dream nodded, looking down at George, holding his hand. How exactly did you make a time machine? I mean, you were in 1970. George looked up at him before leading them both over to the couch. They both took a seat together.
Well, Dream chuckled, then scratched the back of his neck nervously. You know the few nights I wouldn't call you? Well, one time, I accidentally put in the wrong number in my phone, and it led me to another person from the future, but they were farther in the future than you, where time travel had been a thing. I wish. The guy helped me out of it. I just had to make a list of things again. Had something that helped me, too, with putting it all together, Dream explained, while looking at George's shocked yet surprised face.
That's really cool, honestly. I mean, we've always said the phone was special. George giggled a bit. That just proves our point even more. Dream nodded with a huge smile on his face.
Can I see your in the phone? Dream asked nervously as he looked down shyly. George nodded and grabbed onto Dream's hand gently. She led him up the stairs to the room they both knew oh so well. Dream followed right behind George as they entered the room. Dream smiled as he looked around at all of George's belongings as he spotted the wall with two green handprints. Dream's eyes glossed over with tears. I knew you held my hand, Dream smiled as he gave George one of the tightest hugs ever. George not hesitating to hug him back just as tight. I love you so much, George. You have no clue how much I love you. George smiled against Dream's chest.
I love you too, Dream, George said as he immediately had taken back at what he just said. He never said he loves anyone other than his family. He had always had a hard time expressing his feelings, but this was his first time. Dream pulled back from the hug and grabbed George's hand gently and put his hand up against George, like they were comparing hand sizes, with a huge smile on their faces. It feels so much better having my hand against yours and not a handprint, George chuckled slightly.
But at least you had a handprint, Dream smiled it. I didn't have anything but a drawing I could review. Dream chuckled and rested his words. Thanks, George. But now I actually have you, and it's the most amazing feeling. George's face went red at which Dream spoke to him as he intertwined their fingers and slowly pressed his lips against Dream. George closed his eyes as he kissed Dream, which was the most passionate kiss George had ever had. And Dream happily kisses George back just as passionate as he was kissing him. Okay, honestly, I'm getting really tired and I'm probably going to go to bed. So end it here.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for watching, I guess. Subscribe because money. No, kidding. But
If you enjoy our content, we upload as much as we can.
yeah, but we also have a really big time difference, so it's gonna be a little hard. But
it's like 4 in the morning, 6 at night for me.
Yep. So thank you for watching. Subscribe, or I will eat your toes. And if you're into that kinky shit, I will just throw you out of a window.
No hate though.
Pardon?
No hate though, please.
Yeah. Thank you, and bye, I guess.